Well, before I talk about the game, I think I would be remiss if I didn't offer Xavier basketball and Xavier athletics heartfelt prayers and thoughts with the Smith family. He's been on our team's mind a whole lot. We've talked about him. We have guys on our team that played against him, that coached against him. He had the utmost respect, but the player part aside, it's a terrible reminder of how fragile things are. And again, our thoughts and prayers go out to the Butler community and specifically the Smith family. As far as the game, I was really pleased with how hard our team played. Our turnovers were down, which has plagued us since Edmond's gone out. But most importantly, if we turn the ball all over the place, as long as we're playing at a high level on the defensive end, we're communicating, we're locked into the scouting report, we're playing, we're getting after it, we'll get enough points in transition, we'll get teams on the move, and that's exactly what we did tonight. They hit some threes, a couple of them, quite honestly, banked threes that were more from drivers. We're going to give those up at times, especially when we play our zone. But we played a heck of a lot harder tonight than we did against St. John's, and that was a very positive step in the right direction. So,
Chris, Coach Leto said that the 1-3-1 zone kind of made them tentative as the game went on. Did you see that?
Yeah.
How did it have an impact?
It did its job. I think they were a little bit out of sorts. We didn't necessarily have a game plan in mind of just staying with it. Every once in a while, we would go with a quicker lineup and get back to man. So I think just the changing defenses threw them off a bit. But our zone, I thought, covered what needed to be covered. We gave up a couple corner threes. We rebounded out of it. We turned them over at times. And then it always helps when they miss a few open shots and then they start to lose a little confidence. So it was definitely a very positive defense for us tonight.
Chris, is there any added challenge when you're trying to hide your calls from Rick Carter on your bench?
Yeah, I don't worry about it. He picked up on a couple of them, but that's okay. That's okay. It's all part of it. I would tell you that most really good teams do an excellent job of scouting anyway. We have a few new sets that we didn't run when Rick was here, not because of that, but just because we have different personnel. But they got us a couple, but we were standing at the end.
What did you say to him when you got the backdoor lob in the second half?
It was funny because he actually called out the play, and he had the second part of the coverage down. He told, hey, get three guys in the box, and we were going to slip a ball screen, but we didn't even have to get to the second part of the play because we got a little backdoor back screen for Miles. So, I guess Mack 1, Carter 0.
JP came in the second half, really gave you guys a lift. He seems to be able just to turn it on at times and really ignite the team.
I think it's always good when you see the ball go in, and I think he's been really down on how he's played offensively because he's very talented, and it's sort of surprising because he's so confident as a player, and he's played big in big games, but he really hasn't played very well as of late. This is just my guess, and I talked to him about it. I think sometimes he thinks too much about the offensive end and just sort of is out there on defense. But really talked to him about locking in, playing harder on the defensive end, giving us more, rebounding, keeping the ball in front of him. And when you do that, when you concentrate on those things, the ball just finds you. You find a loose ball right under the basket. You get an offensive rebound. You get your and one. And it was good to see, but I thought he really played much harder on the defensive end.
I know you've talked about wanting to get more minutes for Kaiser, but as he's played more, does he even continue to impress you even more? I'm specifically thinking of when he was switching ball screens to Garden Garrett.
Yeah, he can move his feet at an elite level, especially when we play him at the 4. We could play him at the 3, and he could still guard, and we have the ability, because of his versatility, to switch ball screens. His issue is strength at times, and they didn't really overwhelm him in the low post by any means tonight. And I've said it from the very beginning, even when he wasn't playing a whole lot, he may be the second best shooter on our team. And we may have to put those guys out in a horse contest and see if he's not the best shooter, because he's doing it in limited opportunities and, not with a whole lot of confidence as a freshman, but he's starting to gain it, and you can see it. He's getting better and better.
I have to ask this for the message board. When you say that, is Miles theoretically the best shooter then?
I'm gonna leave the message board, leave that mystery out there. All right.
I'll say it's Miles then.
Okay. Just look at the percentages. You are what the back of your baseball card says you are.
Is James okay? He came up hobbling at one point and didn't play as James-like as he normally does.
Yeah, he didn't. And he didn't play well. I didn't think he gave great effort in the first half. I thought he was, limping around the second. I don't know if there's anything to that. I don't think there is, but he has to play harder. And as you know, I've been the first one to beat the drum about James Farr being one of the best bigs, most improved players in our conference. He took the night off, and he hasn't played well over the last couple practices, and it's disappointing. And when he changes his attitude back to what it was, he will play exactly how he's been playing. And that's just reality for anybody, any player. And I love him. He's been great. And I think he's going to be good for us. He's a smart kid.
The other day, after the last time game Jalen hit the three, you said that you'd pull him if he shot another one and missed.
I pulled him.
The day you pulled him.
Yep. I told you, I'm pretty good on my word. Yeah, can't do that.
Question about Andrew Smith. Did you know him at all, just other than playing against him?
Just compete. Now, we played an awful lot of games against Butler. And so I just had a ton of respect for how much of a self-made player he was. You heard all the accolades about being an academic All-American. Obviously, I have a friendship with Brad Stevens at the time, and their staff couldn't say enough good things about him. He wasn't very highly recruited. I think his mom actually worked at Butler, and so it was sort of a natural fit for him to go there. But there weren't a whole lot of schools recruiting him. Again, he's a self-made player. Kid goes to the Final Four, one of the best centers in Butler's history. And that's just as a player. I don't know him as well as a person, but always carried a healthy respect for the type of kid he was.